In most instances, the beats are pretty, like, they're decent. You can work with it. The average listener is not gonna be like, oh no, that sounds terrible. That must have been a 2-track.
Today we are talking with the mix artist Kia, and we are here to answer the age-old question: what the fuck is a 2-track mix? So, Kia, what is it? What is a 2-track mix? What is the difference?
I know. I wish we could have called it something else, something a little more intuitive. But basically, a 2-track mix is when you have just a single wave file or MP3 of your instrumental, as opposed to having what we would call track outs or stems, which is where you have like the individual instruments separated. So you'd have like one track for the kick drum, one track for the snare drum, a track for hi-hats, etc. All right. So in a 2-track, everything is already mixed together, blended in. We call it a 2-track because in our world, this makes sense to us. There are 2 tracks inside of this 1 track. If you look here, there's a left and a right. Mm-hmm. And those are the 2 tracks. Those are the 2 sides of the audio. So we call it a 2-track. To you guys, it's 1 track. I get that. But to us, it's 2 tracks. So forgive us and try to understand us. But yeah, so that's what a 2-track is.
So the 2-track is, basically the left speaker, the right speaker, what you're hearing in the stereo world. You're not getting the individual elements to blend your voice into. And one of the ways that you would come across a 2-track mix is if you went online and you bought a leased beat, you spent your $49, you spent your $69 for an actual wave, and this beat, and then you're going to call Kia and be like, Kia, I have some amazing lyrics and I have this beat. Can you mix this for me? And then she says, hell yeah. And that's how we get a 2-track mix.
Basically, exactly. Some producers mix their beats amazingly, and it's like, oh gosh, this is wonderful. But then, of course, there are a lot of people who like aren't getting their beats mixed, like especially if you're getting the beat from like, I don't know, YouTube or a friend or something like that. Then I have to do a little bit more surgery to like make the beat blend with your vocals. I think what a lot of artists don't understand as well is that your song is gonna sound as good as that beat is mixed if it's a 2-track, especially because like if it's already distorted or there's no bass in the beat and like it's hip hop and you're like, yo, when you mix it, can you put like some extra bass in there? I want to hear the 808s pop, and I'm listening and there are no 808s at all. So it's like, make sure you choose a properly mixed beat, something that's banging already in your headphones to you, not something that you're gonna like when you're right into it, you're like, oh no, this already needs surgery. This needs this, that, and the third, because I can't add what isn't there.
Right.
Basically. So,
right. And then I've heard that a lot. Like people, say, oh, I got this beat on YouTube and I've ripped it off YouTube, and I think that's always kind of where I stop. I say, okay, well, do you have the rights to this song, or did you download it, or, things like that. So if somebody is serious about music and they really want to use a beat, I'm sure you would highly recommend, as well as I recommend, to like make a purchase and make an investment in yourself and purchase that beat.
Yeah, like, okay, so it's a couple aspects to that. So definitely, like, if they're stealing it, that's wrong. If you're like, yo, take these tags out, I hate that. I'm so excited when producers put their tags in like 30 different places. I'm like, good for you. Buy the beat, because all you hear is purchase your track now. Purchase your track now. You all heard it, and it's all throughout the beat. I'm like, yeah, purchase the track, man. I can't. It's impossible to take that many tags out.
I had a guy, I think he was in Jamaica, and he put on one of my Facebook groups, he said, does anybody have a female voice? Because it was like a really male-dominated audio group. He's like, does anybody have a female voice that they can just record the name of my studio in their female voice and send it to me? And I was like, I'm like one of 10 women in this group. I'll do it for you. And so I ended up doing that, like saying like in a nice voice, and then sure enough, I hear my voice. I listen to one of his beats and I hear my voice like every 20 seconds. I'm like, that's a very smart thing to do.
That is. But if you're an artist and you just want to, I don't know, what the motivation would be. Maybe just hear yourself on the beat and then see if you like it and purchase it later. Fine. Because a lot of people do that. They'll record over a leased beat with a bunch of tags, and then later on they'll purchase it. And then I'll just swap out the track outs or whatever. So I get it. I'm not totally against you downloading YouTube beats and things like that, especially, or if it's like just a mixtape or you're just having fun or something like that. As long as the producer, they often put things out for free anyway, and then put their tags on there. So like, for whatever reason, like maybe that's how they want their little promotion or whatever.
Yeah.
Until you buy the beat, that's fine. Well, I just don't like when artists ask me to take the tags out.
Yeah, you're like, I think that's illegal. But yeah, no, and I learned something. I learned that maybe you do want to just test it out, like driving a car. You're not gonna go buy the car before you see if you feel good.
That's an investment. Some of these beats are like $1,000 and up. It's like you don't want to buy it and be like, you know what, I really don't like what I did on this song. You know?
If you got your beat from YouTube because you're going to test drive that car, or you downloaded a beat from BeatStars, or you went out and you paid, I don't know, Timberland $10,000 for your beat, then you send it to Kia, and then what do you do? What do you do to make it kind of fit in there?
Okay, so like we said, the 2-track, you're pretty limited because the kick is where the kick is, the snare is where the snare is. It has like the reverb it's gonna have on it. It's compressed. If it's like super compressed, that's that. You just have to work around that. In most instances, the beats are pretty, like, they're decent. You can work with it. The average listener is not gonna be like, oh no, that sounds terrible. That must have been a 2-track. No,
that was ripped from YouTube. I can tell.
Yeah, I can tell. That's no highs in that. But yeah, normally it's pretty decent. The most on pretty much every 2-track mix I do, the first thing I'll have is a sidechain compressor, which is basically I'm using it to duck the certain frequencies, like the main frequencies of the vocal, while the beat is playing. So basically, I'll have it sidechain. I have a vocal bus where all of my vocals are coming from. I'll add a send to that. This one's called vocal sidechain, and I have that feeding into this compressor only through the ones that are labeled external. That means they're getting the external signal from this send here.
Is that, and that's a multi-band compressor that you're using?
Yeah, and this is a multi-band compressor, which is basically, if you understand a compressor, then you understand a multi-band compressor. It's literally just compression on different bands, different frequency ranges right here. So this range right here, you have a separate compressor controlling that, a separate compressor controlling this range, that range, and that range. And on this C6 right here, we have 2 additional ones. That's this light blue or turquoise and cerulean blue. We'll go with that. Really? those 2 blues right there. So those are the ones that I'm actually sidechaining from the vocals.
Nice.
You can just use your ears and listen to, like, you might have a beat that's really muddy or really heavy and like the low end, and that's competing with maybe a male vocal, and you'll want to like just kind of duck that part of the beat when they're singing so that they stand out more. So they're not competing. That's basically what I'm doing with the sidechain. I'm just making sure that there's room for the vocals to shine through, so it's not competing with the different elements of the beat, since I don't have the ability to like go in and move things to the side. Like an engineer would know, like, all right, different instruments of the same frequency don't need to all be panned the same way. But maybe someone who made the beat didn't realize that that's what was happening, so they just have everything in one space, and we can't do anything about that. The best we can do is try to like duck that a little bit. Tuck it in.
And because the beat maker doesn't know the voice choice, he doesn't know
exactly.
He or she does not know the vocalist, so therefore they don't know what frequencies their beat might be competing with.
Exactly. That's another thing too. So we'll go in and we'll do that. I can play a little example for you. Right now it's set really subtly, but I'll try to exaggerate so you can hear what's going on. This is an artist called Sad Boy Swank. Super dope artist. Check him out.
Baby like a Reese, the cream in the middle. And that girl let her tease me, I slay when I get it. I just hope that you believe me and treat me like a realist man. I ain't really good at loving you, but you the worst one. I just woke up, I was dreaming about the things we worked on.
See, so right now I'm compressing this area around like 250, 500. And like, it kind of, it ducks that part of the beat, those frequencies in the beat while the artist is playing. So you'll hear his voice actually shine out a little bit more. Obviously, this is more drastic than what I would actually want to release, but this is just for you guys to hear like what the sidechain compressor's doing.
Maybe like a Reese's with cream in the middle, and that girl let her tease me. I slay when I get it. I just hope that you believe me and treat me like a realist man. I ain't really good at loving you, but you the worst one. I just woke up, I was dreaming about the things we worked on. Girl, I'm hating how you see me, cause I'm not the worst one.
I don't know if that was noticeable or not.
Yeah.
That was noticeable? All right.
Yeah,
cool.
It like, you could tell that the beat was dropping like really out of the way instead of just like subtly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
that's
that's
awesome.
one thing.
And then you put in some like, sounds like some delays and some added parts to kind of make it blend a little bit better as well.
Oh yeah, in the vocals.
In the vocals, yeah.
Right. But like just as it pertains to the 2-track itself, you can really get crazy in depth with that as well. There's some of my older mixes where I would actually separate the 2-track into like 3 different tracks. And then one would be, I'd just single out the low frequencies, and one I'd single out the mids, and one I'd single out the highs, and like re-blend the whole mix on my own. Like that's when a beat is mixed really badly. Like I think I've only needed to do that twice in my entire life. But don't fret if you do come across a 2-track and it's not quite mixed the way you want it. There's usually things you can do to make it sound better. Yeah, a lot of surgical moves, surgical enhancements that can be done.
And then one thing that I ran into, I've done a couple of these for clients recently, is that when you get the beat, and I actually had to call you about this, but when you get the beat, it's already mastered, which means it's already like loud as hell, and you need to actually like kind of turn it down and then remaster with the vocals, which can get tricky as well. So you gave me some good tips on that. Let's share that knowledge with the world.
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. If you can see, even on this track, it was a similar situation. If you can see, I have the 2-track. I lowered that down by almost 7 decibels to start with, because if I'm starting with it already at 0 and near distortion, by the time I start adding my own plugins, EQs, and whatever effects I want to add, it's just going to start to get really gross really quickly. So to help save myself a little bit, I just start by turning the track out down on the track itself, not just like the volume. So yeah, that gives me some room there.
Do you use like a trimmer at all or anything, or just turn it down on the fader?
I don't do the fader, because that wouldn't really affect the actual signal itself. That would just affect like the volume we're hearing it at. But sometimes I'll do a trimmer, but Pro Tools makes it so easy that when you know, I'll just boom, trim right there on the track.
Nice.
And it's super easy, as long as I do it before I make a million cuts.
Yeah.
If I've already made a million cuts, then yeah, I'll just highlight everything and trim it all at once.
Nice.
Or I can use like a trim plugin.
Yeah. I have a trim plugin that's actually pretty neat from Steven Slate.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's
the Slate don't miss.
Yeah. I was like, this trimmer, I was like, well, the other day I put it on, I just noticed that everything was loud, and I was going through and just kind of slowly, and I was like, no, man, I'm just going to throw this trimmer on my master bus, call it a day.
Is it this trimmer right here?
Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah. You know, I never thought to put it on my master bus, actually.
I was just spending so much time like individually lowering things and then still trying to get it to balance, and I was like, at that moment I was like, fuck this.
I'm working smarter, not harder. Yeah. I try to remember that when I mix too, man, because we have so many tools at our disposal. It's so easy to just start tweaking things. It's like, man, listen, you don't have to do all that. Just press a button.
Do you have that All Access Pass, that Slate All Access Pass?
No, I don't.
Okay, so it has that virtual mix rack, but it also has, speaking of tinkering with beats, it has the Anna 2 synthesizer, which is has like every 808 you could ever want, every kick you could ever want, every snare. And then it has I'm going to say this wrong, FG56 or S6, something like that. I'm dyslexic. I can't read that well. So, but it's actually makes it so that you can master your own shit easier.
Oh, I've seen like the YouTube videos for all of those, and I've just drooled. And I was like, I'm just
and now you can get them for $10 a month, all of them, all $5,000 worth of. It doesn't come with the mic model.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it comes with like all this, and then it's something like stupid, like $6,000.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah,
don't tell me that. That's another. I just keep adding these monthly expenses from everywhere. Now I have to do it. That's crazy. $10 a month. Oh. Yeah, no, I'm doing that after this call.
Yeah, it's Lily and Blair got me hooked on it. She does. She works at Gear Fanatics with Angie, and I collaborate with them. And she did this really cool article about the Slate All Access Pass, and I was hooked. I read the whole article, went into my my studio, watched 10 YouTube videos, and was like, "Here's my credit card." And I've already made the money back because now I can actually like do masters for my own clients.
Yeah,
it's really, really helpful.
Yeah, it is.
So I've already I make it back every month real fast. So
beautiful.
Yeah, it's really cool. But anyway,
that's the goal.
Enough nerding out about Steven Slate. What's your favorite? Like, what is your favorite plugin for hip hop?
Oh, okay. That's all right. Give me a second. That's
you can
tough.
do multiple. You can do multiple.
Okay, I have. Yeah. I'm
like
gonna
a
have to.
top 3 or 4. For the kids at home.
Low key. I tell everyone this, but this lo-fi plugin, it comes stock with Pro Tools. I love this. I love to use this to add like some distortion or grit to the kick, to the 808, to the vocals. Nice. See, and this is free right here. I love this one. I also, the cheat code, let me see, I'll pull it up really quickly. This guy right here is a whole entire cheat code.
What is that?
Yeah.
It's like a pinball machine.
This is the sauce. This is the secret sauce right here. Let me see. I'll see if I can play it and let you hear what just like one button can do. I love plugins these days that just simplify everything, because for me, sometimes it can take you like 3 different plugins to get the effect that just one of these knobs can do. And it's like, I'm so teamwork, smarter, not harder, man. I'm trying to be because when you're an engineer, you've been doing it for so long, like you know all the intricacies and whatnot. So you're like, if I just, make a notch at 500 hertz and 1.2 decibel increases, like I can get this effect. But whereas if you don't even have to think that much. If I just move the knob like this, I can do the same thing. And it's like, I don't have to pull up a million plugins and
that's amazing.
Do all this stuff. So yeah, I'm totally for plugins that look like this. So I have 1 or 2 knobs, Shep's parallel particles. Ooh. It's a waves plugin. I just threw it on the master track just now. And I'll put in like the preset I usually just start with.
Okay.
Let us tease me, I slay when I get it. I just hope that you believe me and treat me like a realist man. I ain't really good at loving you, but you're the worst one. I just woke up, I was dreaming about the things we worked
without
on.
it.
Girl, yeah, you see me cause I'm not the worst one. And I know you don't believe it, say that we won't work on. It's a dumb bitch, I can't wait no more, I moved on. Who you ride with? I've been asking you for too long. She responded, telling me I always do wrong. She ain't lying, so I never tell her she's wrong.
What? Like what?
That's amazing.
You know how much studying I had to do to like learn how to do that on my own? Yeah. And now you have this plugin. It's like, instead of being bitter about it, just like,
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I have my secret sauce, and this is crazy. I tell people this all the time. The Re-X Comp. So I use Reaper. It's a free plugin, and it's a multi-band compressor that works very similar to your fancy knobs one there, that boosts all those like really warm frequencies and stuff for you. And it has these presets for like different kind of music that you want. And it'll say, I use the super solid 2 preset, and then I move it a little bit. But what it does is it takes your mix and just kind of just like that, like push it up. Your mix has to be good for it to work.
Right. It's not like a cheat code. It's like
for
enhancement.
Yeah, it's free. Re-X Comp. And it's actually free to everyone. If you go to Reaper.fm, all their plugins that come with Reaper are free to the world. It's really cool.
Really?
Yeah, and they work
dope.
in every
I'll look into that.
Yeah, but I love that one. It's what I do, and it's not fancy. It doesn't look cool, but it goes on every master bus of every song that I do. and it's just like takes your mix and just makes it crispy. That's the best way I can describe it. Just like that plugin just did.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't be afraid of presets, guys. Like, it's not cheating.
Yeah.
Like, they're there to help you. But one other one, I'll get into one other one. It's another super simple one.
All right, one knob.
I really love the one knob series. Again, for working smarter, not necessarily harder when you can. But especially in hip hop, where we do like a lot of filters, I'll play it so you can hear what I'm talking about. I actually have one on here already, automated. So basically this is just sweeping out the highs. The lower you go, the more highs it sweeps out. And it gives you that muffled sound, almost like the Drake vibe, things like that. But I'll play what's happening here. Back in. But it's just a way to like make the beat less boring, like add some excitement to the track.
Yeah.
Whenever it fits. Yeah, and it's super simple. It's one knob.
So it's like instead of automating the volume, it automates the frequencies.
Exactly.
Oh, that's cool.
Back in the day, what I used to have to do is pull up an EQ and like, I'll give you a quick example of like how much that simplifies things. I would have to pull up an EQ, let's say like the RAQ6. I'll just do a random one. And then I would set the filters for myself, a couple bands or whatever. And then I'd have to automate this one time, how I wanted that. And then I'd be automating another frequency, moving at the same time, however I want that or whatever. And with this, it's just one step, just twist the knob and you get the effect you want.
I've done that.
Drop effects with it and everything.
The EQ automation, I've made a fake wah pedal on a guitar that way.
Oh, nice.
So before I actually got like fancy stomps,
plugin.
Right. Sweep it and it would go wah wah wah, just like a wah pedal for the guitar. And I was like,
exactly. That's awesome. I mean, it's great that we know how to do the fundamentals, but now we don't have to.
But yeah, and that's why I try to tell people, like, you don't need the fancy plugins. Wait until you know why those plugins are there and what they're for. Like, I bought the Slate bundle, right? I bought it, I don't know, 2 months ago. And I even said to people, hey, don't buy this until you know how to use like a Waves ones or stock ones. Don't buy the Waves ones until you know how to use the stock ones, and don't buy the Slate ones unless you know, because once it pops up, you're going to look at that thing and go, I don't know what a threshold is, or I don't know. And it doesn't have, like, Waves is cool. It's all visual, like, especially their compressors. You can see the thing going up. It's not like an analog. It has the swipey windshield wiper, UV.
Right.
But like, so do it in steps. Get these plugins when you know what you want to use them for. And then you can also know if you don't want them, because you might have a song where you might be in a genre of music where you'll never need something, and I'd hate for you to spend money on something that you don't, need or want. That's another reason why the subscriptions are cool, is because you can try every plugin, and then you go, oh shit, I only need one of these, and then you cancel it and buy the one, so.
Exactly. Yeah. I think a lot of engineers or artists will get caught up with like all the possibilities, like, oh, I saw this cool plugin, this person has this, I saw a tutorial with this engineer doing this with this plugin, I gotta get that, and that. And it's like, wait, you don't even understand the basics of sound just yet. Like, you want 30 million EQs and you haven't thought about buying a single compressor. Like, hold on, slow down. Let's understand what's happening for a second.
Yeah.
Take your time. Don't rush.
I have like, I use the Slate Infinity EQ, and I use the EQ that comes with Reaper. These are the only ones I use, really. I used the Waves ones for a while, but the Infinity is cool because of the way that you can manipulate all the different shelves and stuff. But and it has some great presets, and presets are great because you just like, you set it and then you can move it from there, and you don't have to know like and it's a good learning tool. You say kick drum preset, well, this doesn't sound right, but I can see where the frequencies are that I need to move around.
Exactly.
It's fun to watch this stuff, but I'm going to guarantee you that if Kia didn't know what she was doing and she threw that spaceship looking plug-in on there and started moving knobs, it wouldn't sound as good as it does.
Right.
If her mix wasn't
second that.
on point to begin with, that shit wouldn't matter. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. I know I called it a cheat code earlier, but like you still actually have to know what you're doing.
Yeah,
it's more of an enhancement.
Yeah, it's like a little polish.
Exactly.
It's still a Bentley. It just got a car wash.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it a Tesla. I'm gonna call it a Tesla for the environment.
Yeah, it's still a Tesla. It just got plugged in. Right. Nice.
Honestly, I could probably go through about 30 plugins with you. So
all right,
we can keep it there.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to kind of show us what, the difference is between, buying a beat online and sending that beat to your mix engineer and then having your voice over it. And, it's not, okay, well, I bought this beat and it's already mixed for me, and so I just need to throw vocals on it. You still need someone who knows what they're doing, and you still need to be able to know what you're doing if you're doing it yourself to make sure that that sounds as good as it can and doesn't sound like you ripped a beat off YouTube and put your vocals over it. So if you are a hip-hop vocalist, rapper, and you want to hire Kia because she's the best in the business, how do we get a hold of you?
So you can find me on Instagram at The Mix Artist. Nice. I have a Facebook page, The Mix Artist, Twitter at The Mix Artist, email info at The Mix Artist. Like, nice. If you just go to Google and type in The Mix Artist, I should pop up. I put a lot of work in to get my name up there in the search engines. So,
I mean, that's a brilliant thing that you did, just deciding to use that name, because if somebody Googles at all, I need a mix artist, because they don't know the word engineer, your name is going to pop up first. And I think that's a really good, it's a great marketing strategy. Also, like, I've referred people to you before and I don't have to look up your website. I just go, themixartist.com.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Themixartist.com.
Yeah,
there you go. Just go there.
Put that in there, and then off your information goes. So it's really easy. Yeah. But awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and letting us know a little sneak peek into what you do all the time.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.